Listen up, folks. You're watching Dark Corners on NewsDecoded, and let me tell you, what we've got today is absolutely insane. I mean, seriously, get this. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's right-hand woman, just made her final desperate move to get out of prison, and guess what? She's begging the Supreme Court to save her. But wait, it gets crazier. Look, before we dive into this bombshell, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell because you guys are the reason we can bring you these explosive stories that mainstream media won't touch. Your support means everything, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. So here's the thing. Ghislaine Maxwell, who's sitting in federal prison right now serving 20 years for her horrific crimes with Jeffrey Epstein, just filed her last-ditch appeal to the Supreme Court. We're talking about a 15-page reply brief that her lawyers just submitted, basically begging the highest court in the land to throw out her conviction. Can you believe this? Now pay attention to this part because it's crucial. And I mean crucial. Donald Trump's own Department of Justice, led by Bill Barr during his first presidency, was the one who indicted both Epstein and Maxwell. Yeah, you heard that right. The same Trump who's now calling the whole thing a Democrat fabrication was the one whose administration put these monsters behind bars in the first place. I mean, come on. The hypocrisy is off the charts. But here's where it gets really wild, folks. Trump's former criminal defense attorney, Todd Blanche, actually went to visit Maxwell in prison. You can't make this stuff up. What do you think they were talking about? I'll tell you what I think. They're cooking up some story to protect Trump and throw Democrats under the bus. Think about it. Maxwell was convicted by a jury of her peers. She appealed to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, and they shot her down hard. Now she's on her knees begging the Supreme Court, claiming there's some kind of split between different federal courts that needs to be resolved. But legal experts are saying her arguments are weak, really weak. You guys need to understand something here. We're talking about potentially thousands of victims. Jeffrey Epstein didn't operate alone, and Maxwell was his partner in these unspeakable crimes against young girls. The evidence was overwhelming. She recruited them, she groomed them, she delivered them to Epstein. It's absolutely sickening. Now let's talk about what everyone's thinking but afraid to say. Pardon? Yeah, you heard me right. There's serious speculation that Trump might actually pardon this woman. Can you imagine? The only person convicted in the entire Epstein conspiracy, and Trump might just let her walk free. Listen to this. Back in the mid-2000s, there was this absolutely disgusting non-prosecution agreement in Florida. Alex Acosta, who later became Trump's labor secretary, yeah, that guy, basically gave Epstein a slap on the wrist. 18 months in jail with 12 hours of work release every day. He basically just had to sleep in a jail cell. Meanwhile, his victims got nothing. And get this. That agreement supposedly protected all of Epstein's potential co-conspirators from prosecution. Maxwell's trying to use that now, saying she should have been covered by that deal. But here's the kicker. She wasn't even one of the 4 named assistants in that agreement. She's grasping at straws, people. The timing of all this is super suspicious too. Why now? Why is Trump's lawyer visiting her now? What kind of deal are they trying to work out? I'll tell you what I think. They're trying to control the narrative before more damaging information comes out. Think about what a pardon would mean, folks. It would be a massive slap in the face to every single victim of Epstein and Maxwell. These young girls who were trafficked, abused, exploited. They'd have to watch their abuser walk free because she might have dirt on powerful people. Here's something else that's really bothering me. The Supreme Court operates on its own timeline. No deadlines, no accountability, no mandatory ethics rules. They could decide this tomorrow, next week, or 6 months from now. Meanwhile, Maxwell's victims are reliving their trauma every single day this stays in the news. And you know what's really twisted? If the Supreme Court refuses to hear her case, which most legal experts think they will, that actually gives Trump more power. He'd have complete control over whether to pardon her or not. No interference, no further litigation, just Trump holding all the cards. Let me break down what Maxwell's actually arguing here. She's claiming there's some kind of disagreement between different federal appeals courts about how non-prosecution agreements work. But when you actually read her brief, and I did, all 15 pages, it's not convincing at all. She's basically throwing everything at the wall hoping something sticks. You want to know what I think is really going on? This is all about the client list. Yeah, that's right. The names of all the powerful people who were involved with Epstein. Maxwell knows who they are, and that knowledge is her only bargaining chip. She's probably threatening to spill everything if she doesn't get what she wants. But here's the problem with that strategy. If she really had information that could exonerate Trump and implicate Democrats, why hasn't Trump's Department of Justice released it already? Come on, people, use your heads. They'd be shouting it from the rooftops if they had anything like that. The whole thing stinks to high heaven. We've got a convicted child trafficker trying to wiggle out of her 20-year sentence, a former president whose lawyer is secretly meeting with her in prison, and a Supreme Court that could decide her fate any day now. This is like something out of a bad movie, except it's real life. And let's not forget, this isn't just about Maxwell. This is about justice for potentially thousands of victims, young girls whose lives were destroyed by Epstein and his accomplices. They deserve to see their abusers punished, not pardoned. You know what really gets me? The sheer audacity of it all. Maxwell participated in some of the most heinous crimes imaginable, and now she's playing the victim? She's claiming the government treated her unfairly? Give me a break. Here's something else to consider. If Trump does pardon Maxwell, what message does that send? It tells every predator out there that if you know the right people, if you have dirt on powerful folks, you can literally get away with anything. That's not justice. That's corruption at the highest level. The timing couldn't be worse either. We're living in a time when victims of sexual abuse are finally being heard, finally getting justice, and then this happens. It's like we're going backwards. I've got to tell you, folks, this whole situation makes my blood boil. We're talking about a woman who helped destroy the lives of countless young girls, and she might walk free because of political connections? That's not the America I believe in. And another thing, why is Todd, Blanche, Trump's lawyer, the one visiting her? If this was just about legal strategy, wouldn't her own lawyers be handling it? No, this is about something else entirely. This is about protecting powerful people from exposure. You want to know what I think will happen? I think the Supreme Court will refuse to hear her case. They don't want this hot potato any more than anyone else does. But that just kicks it back to Trump, and then we'll see his true colors. If he pardons her, it'll be one of the most disgusting abuses of presidential power in history. We're not talking about some political ally who got caught up in partisan prosecution. We're talking about someone who facilitated the sexual abuse of children. But here's the really scary part. Maxwell might have calculated that a pardon is her best shot all along. Think about it. Why else would she be cooperating with Trump's people? She knows her appeal is weak. She knows the Supreme Court probably won't help her. This might all be theater to set up the pardon. And you know what's really frustrating? We, the American people, are powerless to stop it. The pardon power is absolute. Trump can pardon whoever he wants for whatever reason, and there's nothing we can do about it except vote and make our voices heard. So here's what I want you to do. Share this video. Get the word out. Let everyone know what's happening here. Because the only thing that might stop a pardon is public pressure. If enough people speak out, if enough people say this is wrong, maybe, just maybe, it'll make a difference. Look, I know this is heavy stuff, I know it's disturbing. But we can't look away, we can't let them sweep this under the rug. The victims of Epstein and Maxwell deserve justice, and we need to stand with them. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video, and drop a comment below. Tell me what you think about all this. Do you think Maxwell will get her case heard? Do you think Trump will pardon her? I read every single comment, and your input matters. This has been another explosive episode of Dark Corners on NewsDecoded AI. We'll keep following this story and bring you updates as they happen. Because while the mainstream media might move on to the next shiny object, we stay on the stories that really matter. Until next time, stay informed, stay angry, and keep demanding justice.